Hello, Miss Becca. How are you doing? Let's move over a little bit so we don't have this thing right here. That'll work. Well, good morning. How are we doing? Man, good to see everybody. It's exciting to be back. Exciting to be in Florida, and we are. I'm ready to have my family with me. There's no doubt, but there's bittersweetness there in all of that. So, but today we do want to just come and just recognize Becca and just what God's done in her life. I had the privilege over the last 7 years to see her grow up. If I really would have planned this right, I'd have had some great pics of this little girl, had these little chubby cheeks, had these nice glasses, and that I loved. You were the best client and best person that would come and buy candy at the store at our link. So Becca just came in, personality, stuffed her pockets with candy, and her cheeks too. But anyway, no, I'm just playing. But anyway, it's been a joy to see her just grow up, to see her just find out who she is in life, and that's what I've seen about Becca, and I thank you for doing that. So many kids go through life. They go through, high school and junior high, and they get lost in a crowd. And I know that's been tough and a struggle in different times and stuff. And but you have kind of got through that to find out who Becca was and what Becca desired and what Becca needed in life and stuff. And I thank you for doing that, Becca. It just shows a sign of maturity and shows a sign of just what God is doing in your life. Becca, if you don't mind, I would like for you to share kind of what does that future hold for Becca? Where are you heading this next step in your life?
Okay, I am attending the University of Florida. Right now my declared major is biomedical engineering, but I'm probably going to change that to health sciences and then go to law school for medical law. That's kind of like a recent thing I've changed.
Just kind of got it together there, but
But I've always loved law but I just recently decided like that's what I want to do. And it's been weird because I've always wanted to go into the medical field, like go to medical school or go to PA school, and now I'm just like, wait, I really don't want to do that. So it's God's just kind of shown me different things. Working as a CNA has helped me to see that I do like hands-on care, but I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. So I've just used different opportunities in my life in this county to see where I'm supposed to go and what I'm supposed to do with my life.
That's awesome. That is really good. So you're not majoring in boys. No. Okay, that's a good sign. I know everybody's very excited. Mom and Dad's very excited about that. I am too, because even though I'll be kind of distant, I can fly back and take care of some people for them. But anyway, that's exciting, to be able to kind of begin. And doesn't mean that's what the plan is. We all know in our lives that we seek out to go do that. But you got to have a goal. You got to have something to reach for. You got to have things that are really going. I know God has done a lot of things in your life. And this is on the spot. We were not prepared for this. So she's not like got this rehearsed, so I put her here too. But God's kind of done a lot of things in your life. And I'm not. You're not a perfect girl. We know that. I'm not a perfect guy. We know that. None of us are perfect. So we do go through things. But yet, what has kind of kept you focused and kind of kept you in your relationship with God throughout the years? What has kept you pointed in what you think is pretty much that right direction?
I would say probably the support I've had around me, like Jeff, my parents, family, friends. They've kind of just pushed me to always go to church, even when I didn't want to go, when I was tired. They always said, you need to go, you need to go, you need to go. And I finally just realized for myself, it's my own relationship with God. It's not through my parents. It's my own. This is my life now. And now that I'm going off and living on my own, I can tell you a year ago, I was, I'm ready to go to college and be on my own. And the first thought on my mind wasn't, I need to go find a church. And within the last couple months, I've been like, when I go there, I need to find a church. Like that is hands down the first priority I have is finding a church, finding a organization. I know one called Cru, and it's like Christian youth or Christian college students. And that's like, it's just happened. But definitely the support is the main thing that's been keeping me, and I'm very thankful for that, because I know a lot of kids just go off track even when they do have the support. But I'm glad I've been able to keep on the straight and narrow.
Good. That is really exciting. One thing we can learn from that is that we learn a lot, but one thing we can take from that is that it's she realized it was about her relationship with God and not her parents' relationship. Some of us try to hitch on to somebody else to follow God, and we can't do that. It's what God desires and what He wants in our life. There's something that I still get encouraged by all the time, and you probably don't even know that I know this, but I get a little message from your mom every once in a while. Not bossing me, it's encouragement. But she tells me something, and it really points to, I know another reason why you stay there is that through all of this, you stayed a pretty steady course in the Bible and journaling and kind of just doing that. I know there are things, just from talking with you that you have highlighted, that have spoke to you, that have shown you direction or different things. And I'm sure even this week you've had some time of journaling and doing. And as you get close to this next step in life, in this journey, it's a big one, and you know that. It's very challenging, but it's exciting. It's exciting. What would you say that God's really kind of showing and speaking to you through His Word about this step?
I would say most of all is that there is a plan. I knew, of course, there's a plan. Everyone says that. But seeing just how things have lined up and meeting my roommates, and they're all Christian girls, which I was not expecting at all. Just kind of the way that He has just been showing me there is a plan, and I have it figured out, and you don't need to worry about it. That's been the main message, because I've been what happens when I get on campus and there's no Christians, and what am I going to do? I'm going to be by myself, and everybody else is going to be out partying, and then there's going to be me in my room studying or reading my Bible. But He's definitely been telling me a lot that there is a plan, and He does have people there to support me and that are just like me, who are desiring a Christian faith with a relationship with God and staying on track and not going out every night, and also pursuing a good education. So
that's awesome, Becca, and thank you. I want to share just 4 quick things with you, and they're really quick. The Bible tells us in Mark 1:17, it says, y'all can hear this too, okay? Might be good. Mark 1:17, it says, God says, follow me and I'll make you fishers of men. We did a whole study on it. We did different things, but I've been looking at it in a different way, and 4 things really come out of this. One is always be positive. You got to remember that the circumstances that are in front of you don't define your day or don't define who you are. Always be positive. Always be persistent. Never give up. There's going to be moments over the next 4 years you're going to want to give up. You're going to throw your hands, I'm done with this. I'm tired of it. But be persistent. Don't give up. Third one, be patient. Be patient. God's timing is everything. And it's usually not our timing. Be patient in what you do and how you do it and stuff. And the last one is be passionate. With the same passion that you share today, the smile that just radiates from your face and the beauty that just comes from the inside out. Share that. Be passionate. Be passionate to serve. Be passionate to love. And be passionate to grow in everything. And that's a pretty simple step to take. It's a hard step. But if you'll look at those 4 P's, and I wrote them in this card so you could have it. You can pin it up on your wall. And you always remember Gramps. But I want you to know that. Do those things. Live that life. Stay focused on Him. And you'll accomplish incredible, incredible things. We love you, Becca, not only as my family, me, Shannon, and Kelsey, and Caleb, as we've grown to know you and love you and just been an incredible, the privilege to be an incredible part of your life. We thank you for that. But also your church family. I know Taylor has something here to give you too. But let's give Becca a big hand here. Good. Let's pray here this morning. Father, we love you. We thank you, God, for who you are.
Amen. Thank you, Holy Spirit. There we go.
Man, I am really excited to be back, but I have to say it's been a struggle preparing for today. It's been a struggle of preparing what to say, what to do, how to encourage, but yet how to present the word and to just let God just speak in different ways. Now, I want you to know that today's message is one that probably some may get offended by. I'll just, you know, I'm a straight shooter. Some may really enjoy. Some may nudge the person beside them and say, this is for you. You may go back and you may Facebook or tweet somebody and say you should have been there because you missed it and you needed to hear it. So there's a lot of ways that this could go, but this is my prayer this morning. My prayer this morning is this right here, is that I want you to hear it like God wants you to hear it. Not from my mouth, not from this platform, not from that, but I want you to hear the words that God has for us this morning the way He wants you to hear it. And that could be different for every single person in this room. Every single person in this room could take something away from this message in a whole different perspective. Yes, there is a general theme. Yes, there is a point in the word that begins to just going to speak to every single one of us, maybe unify us together in that. But the take from this morning is I want it to be how God wants you to hear it. You know, I've been just enjoying some morning walks while my wife stays busy with the kids here in Florida and doing everything. I've been getting up early and walking around the neighborhood and just the nice breeze and just thinking and really just feeling so guilty because she's working so hard. But in that time that I'm doing that, I've just been seeking God and asking God. And last 2 months, there's been some frustrating times in my life. Very frustrating, just mad. I'm tired of it. I'm done with it. It's hard. This stinks. Then there's been some incredible, joyful times in my life. But over the last 2 or 3 weeks in my life, God has just begun to put this contentment and this just calmness and peace in my life. That this right here, and this is one I think should unify us right here, one of them. We are not in control. So why are we getting so uptight, stressed out, and worried when it's all in His hands? And man, I've heard it, I've preached it, I've shared it, I've talked one-on-one with people, but it just hit me like a lead brick just coming and just hitting me just head on. Dude, you're not in control. Chill out. And let me tell you how God spoke to me. By a text message from my sweet, beautiful wife. And it said this right here. And she's going to get very probably upset with me. Stop being a butt. It was either from Satan or from God. And I want to live, so it's from God. But it just hit me, and I began to think of what I'd been doing and what I'd been going through and how I'd been so uptight and stressed about it. And I just began to be like, you know what? That's true. I didn't like it at first. I'll just be honest with you. I wrote 100 text messages back to her that all got deleted. Just erased because there just wouldn't have been a pleasant day. She would have flew to Tennessee and I'd have been in the lake somewhere. But anyway, but I'm just saying that we, you know, it just hit me. And then I began to pray on it and I began to think about it and I began to just say, you know what, you're right. You're right. You're right. Stop being a butt. And why am I being a butt when God's in control of things? And if I truly say, God, you're in control and God, that you're going to take care, then why I got to all be up in the business? Why do I have to be just diving in, saying, man, I got this, I got to do that, I got to do that? No. Just chill out and relax. And so the last couple of weeks, I've been just learning that process because, even though I didn't like being alone, I've kind of adjusted to being alone over the last 2 months, I mean, I eat out of, whatever I have in the cabinet, I just pour cereal in and milk and, and clumps come out of the milk. And I mean, all this stuff, and you look at my fridge and there's ice cream, milk, and peanut butter. But I mean, and so life is going to change again for me. But I thought I was going to get prepared way before this. But now I believe God just said, man, you just need to enjoy the moments, enjoy the times, relax. I've got this, dude. I've got this. And I share that with you this morning because I want you to understand things that we try to control things, we try to take things, we try to make things like we want them to be. And all that is control. And yet we say, God, you're in control of my life. God, you're in control of my circumstances. God, you have this. I trust you. But yet we try to control the matter. Now listen, I'm not giving you the freedom to just sit back. I'm not doing that. But I am telling you, chill out. That God's in there. There's no need to worry and stress about it. Enjoy what God has put before you. Enjoy it. Now, I don't know about you, but I still have a great appetite to eat. Love it. Still love to eat, still love to go and eat. And so I've got a few eating questions for you. How many of you love a good, juicy burger? Just a good burger. That's quite a few of you. How many, if you went to a great burger restaurant, you would choose the veggie burger? Anybody? Oh, man. You odd. No, I'm just playing. So, man, how many of you like to go to like either Applebee's or Chili's or a place like that? Some, most, not so many. Okay, good. When you go there, how many of you order the same thing? Every time. Just every time? Just order the same thing. How many try to just order different things? You want to try out the whole menu. That's pretty good. Have you ever got something bad at that restaurant? Have you ever gone back to that restaurant? Sometimes. Most of the time. We give it another chance and another chance. We do that. How many of you in this room love the Gators? How many of you in this room love the Seminoles? They made a little more noise. Not as many of them. How many of you like Miami? Oh, there's a whole little section over there. You a clique. You know how those church things are. How many love the Knights, UCF Knights? Wow. Oh, there we go. There we go, Ken. All by himself. How many of you like USF, the Bulls? We got a Yoki. We got a Yoki fan over there. Hokie, of course, we got a Tiger fan in the house. We got some Tide people. Georgia Tech, Yellow Jackets. Yes, yeah. Rolled right down the hill. But anyway, Buckeye people, And but listen, we've got a mixture of people. And you know what? When you play each other, you probably don't like each other very well. You get along, but you don't like each other. But every one of you in this room, you have a preference of what you like. Whether it has to do with food, whether it has to do with sports or other things, you have a preference. The way the toilet paper comes off of the roll, on top or bottom, you just have a preference. You have that. This morning, my message, I said all that to say that my message this morning is this right here. It's not about your preference. It's about your perspective. We live life, especially our Christian life, from our preference. And yet, we're called to live it from our perspective. I want you to turn to Numbers. Numbers 13. And I really cannot believe that I come here and may not be back for a little while, and this is where God took me, into Numbers. I was looking for the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, or the Acts, or Romans, or Galatians, or Ephesians, or some of the New Testament. It's fresh, it's new, it's alive. But no, God said we're going old school. We're going back in the Old Testament, and we're going to look at something that's going to help us to not think about our preference, but to think about the perspective of things that are going on. It picks up of a story of, here we are, Moses, the children of Israel, they're trying to get to the promised land. They're trying to get to the place where there is milk and honey. They're trying to get to the place where life is going to be good. Every one of us, we're sold this American dream that no matter what goes on in life, that we're trying to get to this point to where life is good. The problem is we really don't know where that point is, and because we don't know where that point is, guess what we do? We are never satisfied. We are never satisfied to get to that point. We're always trying something else, always doing something else, and there's always something before us. And we're never satisfied because we just can't get there. Well, they're getting to this place, this milk and honey, this good land, this great place here. And I want to share first, let's go to Numbers 13, chapter 13, verse 1. And I want to see something here that God tells them before they go and spy out this land to check it out. And the Lord said in Numbers 13, when it says, the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, send men to spy out the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the people of Israel. Now, here we go. Here's God telling Moses, I want you to send these people, but I want you to tell them, I want you to send these people to spy on this land, on the land that I'm going to give you. He already told them. He said, listen, nothing's going to happen. I'm going to give you this land. I am going to give it to you. It's going to be here. I'm going to give it to you. Man, if God came to me and said, Jeff, I am going to put you in the most incredible luxury beach resort place to pastor. Just go get it. That would be easy, wouldn't it? That would be really easy. If I heard just so clearly saying, Jeff, if God told us like that every time, like he told Moses, said, listen, I want you to go send some people to this land that I'm going to give you. He sent it up. He said, it's yours. It is yours. Listen, before I go any further, let me tell you this. There are so many promises in the Bible that God says, this is yours. Period. That's it. Not that, hey, this has to happen, this is yours. He is telling us up front that this is yours. Now, Numbers 13, 27 through 28. The spies went, they checked out this land. They checked it out, they come back, and this is so incredible. It says this, and they told him, we came to the land which you sent us, and it's true. It flows with milk and honey, and it's amazing fruit. It flows with all this stuff. This land is everything you told us it would be. It is everything. However, the people who dwell in the land are strong, and the cities are fortified and very large. So here we come. All of a sudden, they've been given this total promise that, hey, this land's yours. Some of them went and they saw it. They saw it, but they feared it. They saw the goodness of it. They saw everything that there was supposed to be about it, but they feared it. If you go down a few more verses, verse 30, it says, but Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, man, let us go up at once and occupy it for we are well able to overcome it. So one of these spies comes back, and his perspective says, you know what? Let's go up. Let's go take this land because we can overcome it. In life, no matter what step you are in life, let me tell you something. There's usually two perspectives. But you know where those perspectives come from? Most of the time, not from God, but from our preference. Not from God, because listen, I want you to hear something here. Back 13:1, God said, I'm going to give you this land. God's perspective on this is go take it. It is yours. That's his perspective. When they came back, there was two perspectives. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's great. It's everything you said it was. But boom, we can't do it. And the other person says, we can. So most of our perspectives that we put forth into people's life, or that we speak about, or that we share about, or that we want to point to get a point across to people, comes from our preference, not from God himself. I mean, it just happens all the time. Because someone wants it, listen to me, their way. They want it their way. And when we don't get it our way, then we have a different perspective. What would have changed these guys' perspective? Let me tell you. If they had went and there would have been wimpy people all around, the city wasn't large, the city wasn't where, it built up like it should be, but yet it was still good, they would have had the perspective of, let's go take it. But instead of looking at the goodness that God said that was there and everything that was going to be about it, guess what they chose to do? They chose to run away and hide. Listen, let me tell you this right here. We get in this point of our life, and listen, your preference will do several things. It will get you in trouble. It will turn you away from God. It will divide a relationship. It will divide a church. And listen, I'm going to tell you this right here. Your preference sometimes will send you straight to hell. You know why? Because it's not your way. It's not your way. Man, I do tons of counseling, and even in Tennessee, I've counseled people. And the thing of it is that we want it our way. It can't be that way. It's got to be God's way. And God said, here it is. Let's go. Let's keep rolling here. In Numbers 13, 31 through 32, the next verse right under that says, Then the men who had gone up with him said, We're not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we are. Verse 32 tells us this, So they brought to the people of Israel a bad report. So listen, I want you to hear something. This is what they told him. They said, listen, I got to tell you the bad side of it. We can't do this. It's the bad part. We can't do it. And I need you not only to tell or listen to me, I need you to start telling everybody we can't do it. We need you to convince every single person out there that it can't be done. That it can't. Listen, you've got enough media out there today, from the social to the news and everything, that tells you it can't happen. You've got enough things going on that tells you that it's not possible. But listen, I don't know about you, but me, I believe the Word of God. It says that through God, all things are possible. There is nothing that is impossible through Jesus Christ and the blood of the Lamb. Listen, I want you to know that the world is a lie, and the person that's telling you those things, they're a liar too. I want you to know that, and the best thing you can do is get away from them. Walk away right away and say, listen, I'm not going to take none of that junk. That's the kind of life that we have to live, because if not, when we get a bad report, what happens? Listen, chapter 14, verse 1, it says, Then all the congregation raised a loud cry, and the people wept that night. And the people of Israel grumbled. They grumbled. They began to, let me tell you what grumble is. They begin to gossip. They begin to talk. They begin to spread things of this bad report. And the people of Israel grumbled against Moses and Aaron. The whole congregation said to them, Would that we had died in the land of Egypt. When you begin to go on your preference and you begin to go on your perspective from your preference, what happens is you prefer slavery over freedom, because slavery you're taken care of by the world standards. And that's what the people were saying right there. They were like, would we not rather go back and be slaves in Egypt and work hard and work hard? At least we're being fed. At least we are being taken care of. We're out here, and God's not taking care of us. But yet that same God provided manna, provided water, provided a cloud by day and night, gave them rain, gave them everything they needed. But they still had their preference and perspective. Instead of manna, they wanted a ribeye. Do you know what I'm saying? They had their preference. It went on to say in there that there was two guys, Joshua and the son of Caleb, who began to just rip off their clothes and say, listen here, that land is exceedingly good. If the Lord delights in us, he will bring us into this land and give it to us, a land that flows with milk and honey. Only do not rebel against the Lord, and do not fear the people of the land, for they are bread for us. Their protection is removed from them, and the Lord is with us. Do not fear them. Your preference on your perspective only brings fear, and you miss the good things that God has in store for you. You miss them. You miss them. Is the Christian walk full of fear? Yes, it is. It is so full of fear. It is there. But you know what? There are some times that we have to take a fearful step so that we can experience the goodness of God. We have to do that. If you flip over in chapter 14, verse 28, said the Lord spoke to Moses, verse 26 and 27, and the Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, how long shall this wicked congregation grumble against me? I have heard the grumbling of the people of Israel, which they grumble against me. Say to them, as long as I live, declares the Lord, what you have said in my hearing, I will do to you. So what did he say? What did they say? They did not trust God. They didn't believe in God. God's not good enough for them. They kept on, I want control over this matter. We want what we want in the way we want it. And God said, all right, that's the way you're going to get it. Because you know what? You will not get to see that land. But I'm going to allow, and I preached on this before I left, but I'm going to allow the Joshua and Caleb generation to go to the promised land. I'm going to allow Joshua and Caleb because they did not go because of their preference. They went because their perspective was the Lord's perspective on the land. That's a lot of info. You have to process it just for a moment. Let me simplify it for you. Very simple. Four things here I want to share with you real quick. Stop talking. Stop it. You know what messes up us as a Christian? I'm not talking about church here. I'm talking about as a Christian. We talk too much. We do. And eventually, because our heart's not in the right place, what we say is not good. But we still want to say it because it's our preference and it's our perspective. That's why. That is why I struggled so hard this morning with this message, because I had a lot of things that I wanted to say. I told Kevin, I said, I have 3 messages I want to preach today. But I have to go to my kids' party at 2 o'clock. And we would not be out of here till 9 o'clock tonight. I said, I have a lot that I want to say. I have a lot. But when it came down to it, I said, God, I need to know what you want me to say. I need to speak your words. I need to go where you want me to go. And I can guarantee you Numbers 13, 14, and right there was not in my plan all week while I was studying. Not one bit of it. Did not care about it. Did not look at it. Well, I care about it because it's the Bible. But anyway, you know what I mean. It just was not in my plan. But when he began to put the pieces together, he began to show us what was happening here. And I began to look at it. I said, man, that is so true, because one thing that we do too much is we talk way too much. Stop talking and let God work. And how does God work? When you stop talking, the second thing, start praying. Listen, if you will run your mouth on your knees and pray to the Father instead of stop and talk to everyone else, then we will see God move and work, and we'll see a generation saved. We'll see a generation that will restore the homes again. We'll see a generation that will love to be in the house of the Lord again. We'll see a generation that will seek God and not just the blessings of God. We'll see that kind of generation. But you talk too much and you don't pray enough, but yet we expect God to do more than enough. Stop talking, start praying, and God will be more than enough in your life. It will be. There is no doubt about that. But the problem is your preference is your perspective. But God wants us. The fourth thing, be obedient. Be obedient. Those people were not obedient to what God told them to do. He said, go take the land. That's what he said. But you know what they did? They said, we can't do it. But Joshua and Caleb said, we can. We can. Be obedient to what God wants you to do. It's a life of obedience that grows us in our life with Christ. It's you and I taking next steps no matter where we are in our walk. It's you and I beginning to say, you know what? Today, I just want to take a next step in my relationship with Christ. I just want to grow in that, whatever that may look like to you. But that's what being obedient does. When God says to do, you do. When you hear from God, you follow. All those things. But he's asking us to be obedient. And the last thing is this right here. This is why the Joshua generation got to see the promised land. Be unified. Be unified. Be one. There's a story in the Bible in Genesis called the Tower of Babel, and it's a story that shows of what unity can do. The people came together, and there was one language, one word. There was all these things that they did, and they began to build something amazing. God saw it, and it wasn't healthy at that time, but it teaches us a good lesson. It teaches us a lesson of this right here. When the body is unified, nothing is impossible. But when the body is confused and divided because of too much talking, then the progress stops. Just stops. That's what that story teaches us. Because when they had confused language, the progress stopped. We need to stop talking, stop praying, be obedient, be unified. See, the Joshua generation, the kids of the parents that grumbled, had a different perspective. They actually believed the promises of God. That is the difference in a joyful Christian and a sour face, prune face, fig eating, pickle swallowing Christian. The one that believes the promises of God and the one that doesn't. I want the good things of God. I want the milk and honey. But I don't want to do what it takes to get there. My preference is that God serves me. I'm going to sit on my stool, run my mouth, wait on my glass of milk, get me a nice Pie Pies biscuit, put a little honey on it, and I'm going to enjoy my day. When God says, no, there's going to be giants in your land. There's going to be people that is going to ridicule you. They're going to tear you down. They're going to pull you apart. But he says, I want you to know this, that I've already given you the land. I want to give you the land. You know what I began, and me and Pastor Brian at FCC, we began to call people that talk ankle biters. You know why we call them ankle biters? Because they really do no harm. The only harm they do is the people that want to ankle bite with them. But see, when you have the blood of Jesus inside of you, as a pastor and a believer, they can't suck out. They can't poison the blood that's inside. They're just nipping at my ankles. And you know what I say about those people? And you know what I'm learning more and more each day? I just walk right over them and stay focused and keep going forward, because they're not my promised land. Because God didn't promise me ankle biting. He promised me milk and honey. Listen to me real quick. I'm summing up. This is it for me right here. Your preference will change your perspective. His perspective will change your preference. Why? Because then it will be all about him and not me. Father, you are amazing. You are an amazing God. There is none like you. There will never be none like you. None before, none after, none right now. Anything the world has to offer, God, is nothing. But what you have to offer is everything. And God, I pray that we stop living life. God, I'm selfish. And God, I've lived life so long on my preference. God, I've ran my family on my preference. God, I've done things on the way I want them and the way I desire to have them. But God, I'm learning each day that it's not about my preference, but it's about my perspective. And my perspective has to be your perspective. God, I have to live on the promises, God, that you will provide. I have to live on the promises that you will love. I have to live on the promises that you will forgive. I have to live on the promises that you will fill my life with overflowing joy. I have to live on the promises that no weapon formed against me shall prosper, because God be for us, who can be against us? God, I have to stand and live on those promises, God. My circumstances do not define me, God. Dear Lord, the things people say, they do not define me. But God, what you have said in your word, who I am and what I'm created to be, God, that is what defined me. I'm a child of the King, Father. Dear Lord, I am bought with a price. I have been redeemed. I have been, God, have rescued, God, from the pits of hell. And God, I have been, the shed blood has been poured over my life. And God, you are more than enough. Your grace is sufficient. God, that is what is in our lives. So, Father, instead of us desiring what we want, change our hearts to desire what you want. What you want. Let's stand this morning and let's sing.